Welcome to Massive Passive Cash Flow, the podcast that guides professionals to financial prosperity. Join our community and let's start building your wealth. Here's your host, Gary Wilson.
Hey, welcome back to the Massive Passive Cash Flow podcast. I'm Gary Wilson, your host, and I'm glad to have you back. Today, we're going to talk about the book Global Investor Agent, okay? And we have a great guest. I'm not going to give you his name, but his initials are Gary Wilson. That's right, solo cash for the first time in probably 2 years. We're going to talk about the book that was published last year in print, and then just a few months ago, it's now on Audible, okay? So you can get it, I think, for $10 on Amazon for Audible, and the book itself, the printed book, is, I think $15. So in any case, make sure you grab one, guys. I wrote this book specifically for you because I knew the market was going to be turning. We saw it with the dramatic increase in pricing, followed by increases in interest rates. Our interest rates are still, historically speaking, not all that bad. I mean, let's face it, even if it was a solid 7%, historically, that's pretty good. Okay. We just got spoiled by having them down around 3%. Essentially, though, regardless, the rates have more than doubled in the last year and a half, and we have to take that seriously. Normally, what that does is that spells correction. It's just another way of saying recession. We actually had 2 quarters of negative GDP last year, but hardly even felt it. I don't think that's going to be a recession, though. I think we've got one coming up. Can't tell you when. If I did, we'd all be gazillionaires, right? But the thing is we learn to not try to predict what day or week or month it's going to hit, but rather to prepare for that. Okay, that's why I wrote the book. So in the book, it starts off with me in the beginning as an investor. That was my first foray into real estate. Literally, within a month of graduating college, I bought my first house with my college roommate, Socrates. So I take you through that whole exercise. And this was January 1986. Interest rates were still really, really high, way over 10%. Okay. The Tax Reform Act of 86 had come out. And it changed the landscape of real estate and real estate investing permanently. A lot of loopholes were taken away from S-type employee. These are people who are self-employed. That's why we call them S-types. And they usually have S-corps, okay? So a lot of doctors, and they lost a lot of loopholes, okay? So a lot of the properties had gone on the market. And that's why Sock and I, roommate with Socrates, we call him Sock, were able to get started with very little money, right? His dad helped us buy that first house. So he didn't give us money. His dad showed us, he didn't give us the fish, he showed us how to fish. His dad was a big investor in Richmond, Virginia, and he took us under his wings and showed us how to structure the deal. So we assumed the first mortgage. It was a VA mortgage, and you can still do that today, okay? We refinanced his second, he had a second mortgage, and then we gave him a note for a third mortgage for his remaining equity, and that's how we bought the property. Well, this is all in the book. I go into how we actually structured that deal, the closing, and everything that happened after that. So after that, by the way, I didn't invest for several years because I got married, had kids, and moved to Pittsburgh and from Virginia Beach, and got had a corporate job up there in banking. It was in IT, and much of what we did is work on mergers and acquisitions from banks that we were acquiring. So in any case, did that for several years. 35 years old, woke up thinking I should have listened to Mr. Lebet. That's what Sock's dad, who told us when we closed on that property, the 10 years prior, or 12 years prior, that if we did everything he told us, we wouldn't be working for anybody when we're 35 years old. Well, at this point, I'm 35 years old, waking up in Pittsburgh 10 years later, wishing I listened to him because I did not like the corporate world. I was not born to be sitting behind a desk in an office, okay? So I started investing heavily. That next year, I bought 10 properties, duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, and had exactly 30 units at the end of that 12-month period. And the net revenue was matching my net pay from the bank. And I was a corporate VP at that point. I wasn't in the branch. I was in the corporate world. So I was doing pretty good. 5 weeks vacation, whole 9 yards, dental, medical, 401k, you name it. Everything was going great, except I wasn't happy. Didn't want to be sitting at that desk. I wanted to be outdoors. So, like I said, I started investing that first year. That took the second year off to pay down secondary debt. I used a line of credit on my home. I used a personal line of credit and I borrowed from my 401k, okay, while I was still employed there. So all those things allowed me to have down payments for the properties I purchased. Now, at the end of that year, I think the next year and paid down those secondary loans. So I was left with only first mortgages. So I had a much stronger equity position. I already had 20%. There's always put 20% down. But with paying back those secondary loans, I had more equity, I had more cash flow because I wasn't making interest payments on those loans, right? So I had substantial uh, uh, income over that next. Plus, I raised the rents. So then what I did, guys, is I got a home equity line of credit, but it really wasn't a home equity line. It was a business line of credit across the portfolio of rental properties that I had. It was blanket mortgage that covered the equity in all 10 properties. That allowed me to go out that third year and buy that next property for cash. It was a 9 unit building. So in any case, fast forward. Here's where this was important. 2002, January 2002, I finally got my real estate license. Okay. Um, very few of the agents were actually trained to work with me in those prior years. Wonderful people, great at helping people buy and sell their own homes, but were not being trained by their brokers to invest in real estate, much less work with investors. In fact, there was always discord between those two groups. Investors didn't like the agents, and the agents didn't like the investors. It was just a simple a matter of information and communication. That's what the book is partly about: is how do you actually walk the walk and talk the talk with investors? Okay, and that's not just all about working with investors. We work with owner occupants too in our team. But we have a unique platform just for the investors. And I go over that in the book. So in any case, I stepped you forward into those chapters. I eventually did retire from the bank. When I was 40 years old, I was investing in, still working at the bank for 5 years together at the same time. And of course, I had children, right? I was a scout dad and coached softball and soccer and just had a jolly old time. I was working uh, very much and sleeping very little. So, in any case, I finally retired at 40 years old, and I had gone on to accumulate 170 some odd units at that point, and ultimately, 5 years later, bought another bigger property. It's a 90 unit apartment complex. Um, with a partner of mine, good partnership too, by the way. Highly recommend you look at partnerships for yourself. But here's why this is important. All right. When the last recession hit, ask yourself what part of the business was working well. It was the investor business. The owner occupant business had dropped off dramatically. I mean, volume was down in some markets 75%. 75% of the business guys had disappeared. Okay. So half the agents left the business. They didn't know what to do, didn't know how to react. And we'd already been working with investors. At that time, I had a brokerage company. I built my own brokerage, built on the investor relationship, right? We had our own platform of training, um, classes, coaching, you name it. And it makes it possible for the agents who were on my team, back then it was the brokerage, to be able to effectively serve the investors, right? Because they had the tools and the strategies. They had the methodology and the terminology down pat, not only for their clients, but for themselves, right? So here's where this is coming to. We know we're going to have a recession. It's a mathematical certainty. We just can't tell you the exact day, like I mentioned before. But why wonder? Why worry? Why not prepare? Okay. So I think you should take classes in investing. Don't go to the midnight gurus. They're going to start you off at 300 for a all day thing, and then next thing you know, it's 3,000 for training, and it's 30,000 to have a coach, and it's 50,000, 65,000. I've even seen 100,000 to be part of a mastermind program. I'm not knocking those guys. I used to do that. I was a product of that. I learned from a lot of those guys. You don't have to spend that kind of money to learn this. We have for our agents on our team, we have our own training platform for buying flips, buying rentals, managing rentals, wholesaling, even commercial. It's all in there, and they don't pay a dime for it. Everybody on my team, they don't pay for anything until they produce. So we take the risk. Kind of unique. So look for something like that, where you can be part of a team where you're getting the training and the coaching in the way of investing, not just traditional real estate. You've got to learn how to invest. Okay, when the market turns, it's going to be probably half your business and probably more in some markets. In my business, and when we were probably statistically 88% investor business during the three critical years of the last recession. And guess what? Our business grew sixfold during those 3 years. Okay, we started getting bank deals, with all the foreclosures. We sold thousands of them. And I think there were 3,000 REOs in a short period of time. Hi, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for participating in the Massive Passive Cash Flow podcast. I also wanted to let you know that the book Global Investor Agent is officially out in print and in Kindle on Amazon. You can get it by clicking on the link right here. If you are an agent, definitely grab yourself a copy. This book, guys, was not just written by me. I also included 8 other investor agents from around the country. And I didn't just handpick them. I literally opened it up to the entire audience. And it was first come, first serve. So you're going to get feedback from brand new agents all the way up to top 25 team leaders. Some on my team, some are not on my team, with valuable insight and instructions and guidance and actual checklist to follow to not just survive, but thrive in this market. I know you're looking for that advantage, and this is it. By the way, if you are an investor, grab a copy for your agent, and for everybody, all profits from the sale of the book, Kindle and print, all go to the Healing House Foundation, 100%. Thank you for doing that too, guys. Let's get back to the show. So this is all in the book too. I'm taking you through progressively from start to finish how I got started, which is literally buying a 4-bedroom ranch in Virginia Beach with my buddy Socrates. I was half owner. I owned half a house. That's how I got started. Okay. And then, from there, the next thing I bought was another single family home for my wife, Susan, and I. And that's the one we sold to move up to Pittsburgh. Once we were in Pittsburgh, and we had to have our own home. So I bought one there, then built another one. But very quickly, we started in on the investing. And I went through it just the way I described to you. So when we built the brokerage, it wasn't like a fly-by-night thing. Starting in 2002, when I got my realtor's license, I also started teaching local investors how to invest in the Pittsburgh market. It wasn't one of those, again, late night guru things. I wasn't even the guru. I was a teacher for someone else, who was the guru. So he put me on his radio program. It was a Saturday morning business program. And called me the next Monday and said, I just want to tell you, I've sold more training programs ever since you came on my radio show. Would you like to come by and meet some of the guys and go to lunch? And I said, sure. So I went to lunch with a bunch of students and investors, young, old, male, female, didn't matter, from Pittsburgh. And I liked it. I liked hanging out with other people who were investing. So when they asked me to represent them as an agent, I said no. I didn't get my license for that reason. I got my license for myself, to make investing easier. Turns out, using my license was one of the smartest things I've ever done. So after several times of people asking me, I finally decided to say yes. I learned one of the most valuable marketing lessons there is: scarcity and urgency. So I went into class this Saturday. I did it maybe one Saturday a month, and told everybody, I said, look, there was 25, on average, 25 people per class. And I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I don't really do this, but I'm going to take 2 of you out. I'll take 2 of you out, and I'll represent you as your agent. Well, every hand went up. They all wanted to be the 2 people. So that taught me a lesson, which is make yourself scarce and make it urgent when people decide to work with you, because you are special. Okay. When you have skills like these, the ones we teach you, how to work with investors, how to invest yourself, giving you the tools and the strategies, everything you need, and you don't spend a dime on that out of your pocket. Good Lord, you're going to succeed in a great way. I'm telling you, we get more than 4 transactions per client with our investors. With our occupants, we get basically 1 transaction, per client. We get referrals coming in and things like that, and maybe a repeat sale on a vacation home or a move up home 10 years later. But I'm talking 4 transactions a year for active investors. That's a big difference. So in any case, I'm going to move into the phase 2. So assuming you actually do this yourself, come to Monday Night Live. Just go visit globalinvestoragent.com. Look at the material that's in there, scroll down, and you'll see where you can participate in Monday Night Live. Cost anything, you just register and show up and meet people on the team, meet other guests from around the country. And it's educational. We always give real content, okay, like things you can actually do and take away. So just do that. All right. But in any case, So phase two is this: assuming you have your license, you decide to take me up on this and work with investors. And you can either do it the slow hard way, which is figure it out yourself, right? Which is a lot of us do that. We're entrepreneurs. We do it the easy way. Just come to Money Night Live and start there. And again, it doesn't cost anything. So, in any case, at this point, I want to introduce you to phase two again, which has to do more with your own investing, you investing for yourself, because now that you've got a clientele, a steady clientele, a steady business producing steady income, it's a lot easier for you to get loans on investment properties. Remember, an investment property is bringing in cash flow. Your personal home is not. So when you qualify for a loan on an investment property, they actually count the income that's going to be coming in from that property. Okay? And when they look at your ratio, they're looking at all of your income from your job, from your other investments. It all adds up. And as long as you still meet the ratio, the 1/3, 2/3 ratio, like in other words, your principal and interest should not be more than 1/3 of your take home pay. Okay. So in any case, you I want you to invest yourself. Another part of the second phase of your business life is starting other businesses. You can call them side hustles if you want. I have agents that have property management companies. Okay. And we do it correctly the right way. It doesn't matter what brokerage you're in. I can show you how to do it correctly, right? It doesn't involve your brokerage. I mean, some brokerages will require you to go under their umbrella, but it still should be your business that you own, separate LLC. So in any case, we go into all of that in the book. And here's the beautiful thing about property management. It's not a fun business. Well, let's be candid. It's not fun when all your phone calls have to deal with vacancies and roof leaks and you know, water tanks going bad, things like that. Nobody's calling you saying, "Hey, I just want to thank you for being my property manager," right? But the point is, it's another way to make money on something you're already doing. You probably already have clients asking you if you can manage your properties for them. Okay. Well, now you can say yes, but structure it like a real business. So you get all the benefits of business structure, like for taxation, right? And that income, excess income, basically enhances your bottom line. So when other lenders are looking at you to buy more properties, they see now you get income from two sources, actually three. You got commission coming in, you got property management fees coming in, and you got income from your own investments coming in. It's three streams of income on one set of activities. Whether you're helping yourself or someone else, you're always looking at investing, right? So I even used to own a title business and an appraisal business. Well, in fact, we were getting ready to launch a bank too. It's not hard to do when you already have the clients. You don't have to do a lot of more marketing. You already have the clients. You just serve them in multiple ways. But in any case, that's why we came up with the term the massive passive cash flow method. Okay. That's talked about in the book, in the Global Investor Agent book. In fact, there is a book called The Massive Passive Cash Flow Method. That was the sixth book, right? Global Investor Agent is the eighth book. A Global Investor Agent goes into one more big thing, which is, phase three, if you want to call it this, has to do with you building your own team. Okay. And because you don't actually have to own a brokerage, okay, to succeed in this. In fact, I don't own a brokerage now. I used to. I sold that brokerage, but what I'm doing now, I'm doing inside another brokerage. I have a team inside this brokerage, and they allow me to operate on a national scale. So we've got agents on the Global Investor Agent team. They're in 37 states at the time of this recording, maybe 38 by now, because we just signed on someone from the state of Maine. But in any case, here's why this is really important, guys. The market is going into a change. Agents are going to leave, the ones that are unprepared or the ones who are not producing, right? They're going to leave. And then the ones that are staying are the true champions, the successful, the winners. They don't give up, no matter what the circumstances are. Okay. What I'm suggesting to you is to soften that downturn is form a team, build a team, create a team, right, around you and your area, and have an admin and bring in other agents, and don't make them just be buyer's agents or just be listing agents, things like that. Build them, develop them to be the whole complete agent so they can be autonomous and independent, right? And what's interesting about that is when you do that, you don't have to continuously take commission splits under transactions. But if you're in the right organization that rewards you for building a team and bringing people in underneath you, you're incentivized to help develop other people. That's what we do. My revenue share, guys, I can actually live off of it. It's that good right now. Passive income, totally free. I don't have to take tenant calls for that money. I don't have to collect rents for that money. It comes to my bank account automatically. So what I'm getting at here is take advantage of the fact that you are a leader. You are ambitious, and if you're on top of your game, you'll work with owner occupants and investors both, right? Have a model for both, but more importantly, prepare for the future. I think you should build a small team. Eventually go big like me if you want to, but at least start where you are right here, right now, with a few people. You don't need more than 5 people to make a team really scream. Okay. Um, but you definitely want to work with some virtual assistants. We have 3 virtual assistants on our team, and a full-time employer, U.S. based employee, excuse me, and a part-time independent contractor. And we serve 120 agents on the team across 37 states. It's not that hard to do. It only sounds like it's hard because you haven't done it before. But in the book, we detail that, how we actually did that. Um, in fact, that's the name of the book is Global Investor Agent. So we show you how to become a global investor agent. And then to wrap things up, we actually show you how to build your own team so that you are now your currency is the currency of time, right? You're no longer trading your time to make money. You're now earning enough money. You're trading your money to buy more time. That's when you know you made it. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is to build a business structure, right? Don't just receive commission income, because if you stop producing commission income, if you stop selling houses, your income stops. So get in a company that has revenue share, right? In our company, we also have stock options. I buy stock in the company. So I buy stock, I get revenue share, and I get commission income, all 3, plus the other side businesses in the real estate. So this is where I wanted you to get at. When you get to building a team, just call me. You can get my phone number very easily in my email address. Go to globalinvestoragent.com. You can order your book there, and you can even leave your name and email, and we'll set up a call together, and I'll be able to talk to you about this if you're looking at building a team like I did, especially if you're looking to go outside your town or your county and your zip code. If you're looking to expand on a national scale across state lines, definitely give me a call, because we're doing it right now, and I'm actually already helping a half dozen other people do the same thing. In any case, we touch on that in the book, and at the last part of the book is 8 other people writing their own life stories and how they ended up here in this business right now. We even give you in the back all the team members. All the team members are in the back, and a year's worth of transactions. There was over 400 transactions we closed in that first full year, and they're all detailed in there. So you get all this cool information, as well as tools and strategies and methodologies to help you be a global investor agent, and don't just survive, but thrive in this next market downturn. Okay, guys, we'll see you on the next Massive Passive Cash Flow podcast. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. God bless you and your family.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Massive Passive Cash Flow. Be sure to go to realestatewithgarywilson.com to join our community and start building wealth today.